Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be interviewed by my friend Gene. He's going to ask me a couple questions about why I chose to apply and to Cornell University and attend Cornell University. So let's get it started, Gene.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'll just be here as your interviewer for the day. Let's get right into it. So, the first question I have for you today is what made you apply to Cornell, or why did you actually even apply to Cornell?
Well, I was interning at Microsoft Research, and my mentor told me I should apply to a top university. And during my time doing this research internship, I really enjoyed working along individuals that were from some of the best research programs in the U.S. So that kind of really motivated me to aspire to be a part of one of these research programs, because I noticed that there's a lot of opportunities that I would have in those spaces where I can be around leaders in all kinds of areas in the research that's being done in computer science. So I really felt and just really had a strong resolve to go to a university where the people around me would be like some of the best. And I think it would rub off on me, and I'd eventually be a part of a cohort of individuals that are doing some of the best work.
That's what's up. So, I'm assuming that you applied to multiple schools and you had a pick of schools. So, what about Cornell, or why did you choose Cornell out of all the schools that you got accepted into specifically?
Yeah, so I actually applied to 7 of the top 10 programs in my area, which is computer science, and I ended up choosing Cornell because when I visited here, the talk that the department chair Kavita Bala gave really inspired me that this was the right place for me, because I, coming from undergrad, did not have my research direction completely figured out, and Cornell gives me some of the best opportunities in terms of flexibility with that. In my first year, I did not have to lock in a specific advisor. I was allowed to explore, and because of that, I had no pressure to even lock in someone. And even now, during COVID, the deadline has been extended, and I still can theoretically, get more time to figure out my advisor. I also like the people here. A lot of the people were friendly. The professors I met with seemed to be pretty good professors, and my overall experience was great when I visited.
This is up. So you mentioned kind of your first year experience, this has been your first year at Cornell. So I'm pretty sure when you were going into it, you had some ideas of how you thought the experience would be. So how has your first year been so far? Has your experience lived up to the expectations that you had going in?
Yeah, so my expectations were, I don't know, I expected to be around a lot of people doing good work, and then I also expected to be challenged a lot and in ways that I haven't been challenged. And honestly, the first year did live up to that expectation, from my coursework to research, and also just learning how to process information at a faster rate. I think that basically kind of summarizes a lot of my experience. Being able to read faster, read more, read different things, synthesize information. I think that's kind of the things that happen, and it's kind of necessary, So I had to learn that pretty quickly and adapt, and it goes back to what I was saying before. I think that's why I wanted to be here, because I know I thrive in any environment where there's expectations, high expectations.
So you did mention the reading. So did you expect to do as much reading that you actually had to do?
I did, but I didn't know what the process to get to that like to build the skill that I needed in terms of reading was going to be like I had to learn how to read papers, I had to learn how to read books. Like we, at least for me in my undergraduate experience, I read books and textbooks and stuff, but it's kind of different as a PhD student. The approach is different, so it took me kind of like this first year to change my learning style. You'll probably hear that the learning style is different, and it's really just a process. Over time it happened.
So, with your first year, sounds like you had some good success with adapting and really stepping up to the plate on that. But I would like to ask, like, what are some things that you would do different? Like, if you could go back, what are some things that you would approach differently?
Honestly, I think I wouldn't have done anything like different in terms of my actions. I think I did them to the best of my abilities, but I think how I process everything going on in the first year would be different, like imposter syndrome or.
That's important. Can you touch a little bit about like the actual imposter syndrome?
Yeah, so it's like part of it is like you come and you're in a space where there's a lot of like students, a lot of professors who are doing great work. So now suddenly I felt like I had to live up to some like bar, and that bar can sometimes feel too high. So I think the biggest thing that helped me kind of like cross that is the idea of like not focusing on like an end goal, but focusing on growth. I think that's what the PhD is about. So I was just like, instead of like saying I need to publish a paper, I just focused on like reading papers. Like I think if I read papers, I'll get closer to publishing a paper, because you can't publish a paper if you've never read papers before, right? So I started focusing on the incremental tasks that would lead me to my goal, but not using my goal as a measurement of success. I think success is really just a measurement of like the effort you put in.
That's good. That's good. So I guess in addition to that, with looking at incremental success as your guiding point, I guess finally, what other advice could you give to somebody that's thinking about embarking on a similar journey that you have chosen to embark on?
I'll just say like expect it to be challenging. Remember that you're qualified, and that's why you're in the place that you're at, or in the place that you're going. And just remember that, and approach every problem that you face in that manner. Choose an institution where you feel like you'll have support if there's issues. That's about it.
Sounds good. That's all I had on my part. Thanks, you had such great answers. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Gene. I appreciate it.